Genius by Mark Twain, 1835 to 1910. Genius, like gold and precious stones, is chiefly prized because of its rarity. Geniuses are people who dash off weird, wild, incomprehensible poems with astonishing facility and get booming drunk and sleep in the gutter. Genius elevates its possessor to ineffable spheres, far above the vulgar world, and fills his soul with regal contempt for the gross and sordid things of earth. It is probably on account of this that people who have genius do not pay their board as a general thing. Geniuses are very singular. If you see a young man who has frowsy hair and distraught look and affects eccentricity in dress, you may set him down for a genius. If he sings about the degeneracy of a world which courts vulgar opulence and neglects brains, he is undoubtedly a genius. If he is too proud to accept assistant and spurns it with a lordly air at the very same time that he knows he can't make a living to save his life, he's most certainly a genius. If he hangs on and sticks to poetry, notwithstanding soaring wood comes handier to him, he is a true genius. If he throws away every opportunity in life and crushes the affection and the patience of his friends, and then protests in sickly rhymes of his hard lot, and finally persists in spite of the sound advice of persons who have got sense but not any genius, persists in going up some infamous back alley, dying in rags and dirt, he is beyond all question a genius. But above all things, to deftly throw the incoherent ravings of insanity into verse, and then rush off and get booming drunk, is the surest of all the different signs of genius. Okay, so this is another sarcastic poem by Mark Twain. Let's see, Mark Twain is an American writer. He's most famous for the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Let's see, he was a pacifist. He was for the abolition of slavery. So this poem is titled Genius, and it's effectively saying, why do people think that a genius has to be crazy, has to be a crazy alcoholic, this makes them much more this gives people a reputation for being a genius, for being able to do things that most other people are not. But let's see, there are geniuses. There's maybe a very thin line between genius and insanity as well. And I think in some cases this happens. I think there are many other geniuses, mostly, who are very normal. But he's being sarcastic. If the person is a crazy alcoholic who writes of weird and strange things, then they must be a genius. And he says, genius, like gold and precious stones, is chiefly prized because of its rarity. So genius is we think it's important because it's rare. It's like precious stones. It's like gold. People, geniuses, are people who dash off, do very quickly, weird, wild, incomprehensible poems with astonishing facility and get booming drunk and sleep in the gutter. So the genius dashes off. He very quickly writes a wild, incomprehensible poem which nobody can understand. And it's really easy for them to do it. And then get really, really drunk and become unconscious in the gutter because they get so drunk. This is a genius. So, yes, when people do maybe write poetry like this that is totally incomprehensible, and you've got this weird character who's alcoholic and does things like this, then we think this person must be a genius. Genius elevates its possessor to ineffable spheres. So genius brings up the person who possesses genius to places or ideas that are beyond expression in words. Yeah, that genius it means that these people are in a world that is far above the ordinary world, that they're far better than the world that we ordinary mortals live in. And this genius fills the genius's soul with contempt for the gross and sordid things of earth. So the genius doesn't appreciate the normal things of earth. Doesn't appreciate money or fame, which may be good things, but doesn't appreciate comfort or the basic necessities. And that's where it becomes a problem. It is probably on account of this, that people who have genius do not pay their board as a general thing. So normally, this is probably the reason why people who are geniuses, they don't pay their way in life, they don't pay their rent, they don't pay for their things, they just get other people to pay for them. Geniuses are very singular. So yeah, they are unique, that they do things in their own way. If you see a young man who has frowsy hair, frowsy, I think is probably a good description of mine, unkempt hair, and a distraught look, and he looks very worried, and affects eccentricity in his dress. Notice this use of the word affect, an affectation. He wants everybody to see he's eccentric by the way he dresses. So to affect here is meaning to pretend to be eccentric, to do things that people consider make you belong in this class, even if you don't. And here clearly the use of this word affect is indicating his cynicism, that he doesn't believe these people are geniuses at all. He's just saying that society has this weird way of deciding that these people are geniuses. You may set him down for a genius. So if he has tousled hair and a distraught look and wears weird clothes, then people are going to call him a genius. If he sings about the degeneracy of a world which courts vulgar opulence and neglects brains, he's undoubtedly a genius. So if he talks about, if his poems call the world degenerate, a degenerate world which courts, which loves, which respects vulgar opulence, vulgar wealth, displays of wealth, and neglects brains and has no respect for intelligence, then he's undoubtedly a genius. He is too proud to accept assistance and spurns it with a lordly air. So he won't accept help from other people, and he spurns it, he turns his back on it with the air of a lord. He's too important for your assistance. He's too important for you to give him money. At the very same time, he knows he can't make a living to save his life. But at the very same time, he knows that he's completely incapable of earning money to live. Then he is most certainly a genius. So remember, this is sarcastic the whole way through. He's saying that people call people a genius not for their ideas, but for their outlandish way of living, for their outlandish clothes, for the way they have affectations rejecting society. If he hangs on and sticks to poetry, notwithstanding sawing wood comes handier to him, he is a true genius. So if he hangs on, if he continues writing poetry, even though cutting wood is going to be much more useful for him, because cutting wood he can probably earn money, then he's a true genius. He must be a genius. If he throws away every opportunity in life, so if he doesn't take any of these opportunities and crushes the affection and patience of his friends, and then protests in sickly rhymes of his hard lot, so if he throws away all his opportunities, if he's rude to the friends who love him, if he hurts his friends who look after him and take care of him, and then protests with bad poetry, with bad rhymes, how hard his life is, and keeps doing this, in spite of the sound advice of persons who have got sense, but not any genius. And then if he keeps doing this, if he keeps hurting his friends, if he keeps squandering his opportunities, and then complaining about how hard his life is, if he persists, if he continues in going up some infamous, some famous for being bad, famous for its badness, back alley, dying in dirt and in rags and dirt, he is beyond all question a genius. So if he continues doing this and insists doing this and dying in rags and in broken clothes and dirt after some alcoholic episode in a dark alley, then beyond all question he's a genius. But above all things, to deftly throw the incoherent ravings of insanity into verse and then rush off and get booming drunk is the surest of all the different signs of genius. So then he finally sums it up and he says the clearest thing that makes a genius is to quickly and agilely put the ravings of madness, the thoughts of madness that have no meaning, that have no coherence, to take all of these things and put these into a poem and then then go off and get really, really drunk. This is the surest of all the different signs of genius. So I was wondering, what poets can you think of who fit this comparison, this poem? So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Genius by Mark Twain.